You are listening to Peak One Sports.
Welcome to the Bungalow Hockey Show. Daniel is on location in Hawaii.
Beautiful Hawaii.
He just got married yesterday. He's spending his honeymoon recording a hockey show. What a psycho.
I mean, just a little, right?
Well, I think the whole experience is like a honeymoon, right? You've been there for a few days before, you're there for a few days after.
I mean, we were here since Wednesday, and this is coming out on Tuesday, but we're recording on Monday. A little peek behind the curtain in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I leave on Wednesday, so I mean, here for a solid week, and then boom, when we get home, Thanksgiving.
Bam! It's just life is a dream. Life is a dream.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, before we get down to business, this show, like all our shows, brought to you by Betalytics. Betalytics.com. Promo code PEAK1 for 25% off all their stuff. I placed another football parlay and missed it by one game. We won't talk about that. I talked about it a lot on the sports show, so go listen to that if you want to hear me.
One game, dude?
One
Again,
game. Five-leg parlay. Everybody hit but the damn Steelers by a last-second field goal. They lost to the Browns, but that's okay. That's over with. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So you should go to Betalytics.com, use promo code PEAK1 for 25% off. Peak One Sports Network merch store, bonfire.com/store/Peak1 Sports. You know the drill. Go there, get all the cool stuff, get the pair of fist with skates, Bungalow Hockey Show shirt, Shank It Golf. Go to shankitgolf.com, use promo code PEAK1 for 50% off, and look cool. Just look cool when you're on the links.
Cool.
And I mean, the stuff they got, it looks cool all the time. But when you're out on the links, when you're out on the greens, you look cool. Shankitgolf.com shankitgolf.com. I'm just excited that that you're talking to me from this is like on location. This is a special thing. Shankitgolf.com. Promo code PEAK1, 15% off. Epic Hockey. If you want to be like Daniel and do a podcast from your balcony in Hawaii, go to Epic Hockey and you're on your way. EpicHockey.com. Get all your hockey gear. You guys know.
Epic Hockey is amazing. It's epic. Need I say more?
Yeah, we're running through these because I'm trying not to keep Daniel on. This is a special time in his life, and he's doing a goddamn podcast, so it just feels weird to me.
It's all right, man. The lady's downstairs. She's with the kids. They're at the beach. It's all good.
Awesome. All right, dude. Well, let's get into. We got some extracurricular NHL news.
Sure do. First time in a minute, actually.
Yeah, Milan Lucic made his triumphant return to Boston this year and has also made his debut in a Boston jail cell.
Is it his debut?
I guess.
I really don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't.
I guess the most highly publicized visit to a jail cell. I don't know too much about this situation, but what I've heard was domestic abuse. Right, it was a domestic dispute. Is what it's being called. Not a lot of, we won't speculate on what happened. It's just when you see things like these, especially with pro sports and athletes in contact sports, you're like, is CTE starting to creep its way into Milan's head?
It's quite possible. I mean, if you want to talk about a guy in the show that's been roughed up a bit and done some roughing up of his own, look right at Lucic and probably Revo and a lot of guys like that,
Yeah, anytime you get a guy who's a hard-nosed player, whether it's, football, hockey, any, fighting sports, any of that stuff, and then they start getting to the end of their career, and it just seems like in some cases domestic disputes start to pop up, not that it's a funny thing, but what do you?
No, it's not at all.
I mean, I know he's not like a main focal point of this team. I made a mistake when texting Daniel the topics this morning to say Brad Marchand, and I'm like, well, fuck, if it was Marchand, that team would be in big trouble. But Lucic, I mean, locker room guy, I guess. That's why you'd bring him back, right? He's a staple in Boston. He's a fan favorite over there.
Yeah, been that way for a while.
It's not like he was getting a ton of minutes over there. So I think game time wise, I'm not sure it makes a huge impact. But just I'd imagine morale wise, it probably isn't good for Boston.
Yeah, but I mean, we all thought that about last season when they went out and signed that that kid that got drafted by the Coyotes, and then came out that he was abusing a disabled classmate of his.
Yeah.
Mitch Miller, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And it's like we all thought, oh man, this is the downturn of the Bruins. Like they're fucking with the locker room chemistry, and it's gonna be bad. I mean,
that seems
I don't think this is that. So
especially with Lucic being gone for a little bit, and then now like obviously he's back, and he isn't being the team that they were last year. It's not like he's a staple there. You know what I mean? He's not he's not.
And I mean, even the team that they are this year, they're still off to a real good start. 20 games in.
100%. So I mean, I don't see it making a huge impact. It sucks for him, sucks for whoever the partner in the dispute was, and it's a sad situation. Yeah. I hope everything works out for everybody over there. But it sucks. You got, we're a sports podcast. We got to talk about it. But it's just, it is what it is. What was I going to say? I did see a little article in sports media being what it is. Sometimes I feel like people just make shit up and say that sources say. But I did see a little snippet of something saying that his contract, I guess, could be voided in a situation like this. So,
which I guess makes sense.
Of course,
you're not going to be able to play for the team. Obviously, there's some reason for that.
And there's got to be like conduct clauses in most contracts and things like that. So,
basically, a "don't be an asshole" clause in every contract. I'm sure most professional sports have that "don't be an asshole" clause.
Yeah, Bold Sandwich knows. Not one of my favorite guys out on the ice, but I don't wish this upon anyone, so I hope everybody gets good. Okay, moving on to more positive things. A positive situation for a player on a team in a very negative situation. Seen a lot of stuff in, raising a lot of speculation about old Willy Nylander's upcoming contract, especially since the Leafs did not, extend him over the off season, which I believe they had the option to. They opted out of that. But he is off.
They did have the option, but did they have the ability?
And that's my.
This is a team that's just locked up, so tight to the cap. It's like
and that doesn't.
When they start talking to him, like what are you gonna offer him? It's like same money.
Well,
make same money. It's like no, he needs a raise now.
And that's what. And he needed a raise in the offseason, and that is the more speculation is now with his level of play being upped even. I mean, he was a great player already, but now this season he's just on fire. And if he continues this for, a majority of this season, that cap trouble or cap tightness, if you will, that they are in we talked about this during the previews of all the teams, is like, that doesn't end after this year. That tightness follows them into next year, which will make him a free agent.
It gets a little better if they don't re-sign Nylander, but then also if they don't re-sign Nylander, who do you replace Nylander with?
Exactly, and
they're kind of at a catch-22 right now, because after next season they get Tavares off the books.
Right.
Matthews is locked up long term now. They've got Marner locked up long term.
Right.
They've even got Morgan Riley locked up. Which, like I've heard a lot of Toronto podcasts say, it's like you continue calling them the big four, the core four. You could easily throw Riley in there because he makes almost as much as those guys, and he's been there for longer than all of them.
Right.
It's like it probably should be the core five. But I mean, man, just looking at this team, it's like if you're not getting every other player at league min or around there, you don't have a team,
and you definitely don't have the space to keep Nylander. And like at his, obviously Austin Matthews is Austin Matthews, but as far him aside, William Nylander is this whole team's offense right now. You know what I mean? And not that it can't change throughout the season, but it's just like,
well, you look at guys on the roster, right? You look at Matthews, you look at Marner. They're going to turn it around.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a question of when, really. But I mean, Tavares has been playing well, but Tavares is on Nylander's line.
Well, and in a year with obviously the other issues that team's having, but where you spent probably too much money on a Bertuzzi, on a Domi, on a Reeves, and maybe that could have
too much money on Reeves.
That could have added towards some. You could have put towards signing old Willy. But I've been following this dude on TikTok that's been making these like weekly videos of like update in the William Nylander re-signing, and he just puts on glasses to be the GM. And then like a suit and jacket to be the coach, and them talking to each other, and then he'll just bust in the door with like a flat bill hat on and be like, "What you talking about, guys? You talking about my contract? It's gonna be a big one. It's gonna be a big number." Like, it's just funny. Like, and then like before he busts in the door, it's just them just like, "What the hell are we gonna do? What the hell are we gonna do?" And it's just like, I don't know, 8x8, 8x9.5. I'm like, gonna be big. Gonna be big. And then he'll, you know, and then he has 6 more points during the week, and then the dude makes a new video of like, it just keeps going up, doesn't it, guys? It just keeps going up.
but it's like, you kind of can't blame him either, right? Like,
no.
He's like, you know, he knows the team's in cap hell, but that's not his problem.
No, not at all. And where he's at in his career, his age, and everything else, another team will gladly give him the biggest number on their whole roster, even to play half as good as he's playing right now. You know, so it's like, I don't know. It's just been all coming across my feed a lot lately. Is just talking about just the kind of turmoil that team's in right now that we've talked about, plus just him and the amount of money. And it does seem like every week he's worth a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And you know, it seems like he probably won't be there next year. I don't know.
Now, I don't know if, I don't have this on the best of authority, but I have heard some rumors. Sources say that Willy Nylander is quietly being shopped right now.
Okay, well, I guess that's an option to get something out of it. Is that if you're not going to be able to re-sign him, let's get something for him.
They don't know if they can afford him at the offseason. They're going to try,
right?
But if by February they don't think they can re-sign him, they're looking to move him before the deadline. And a team that has come up is that one right there.
Son of a. Oh my God. And like I said last week, if those Duckies can keep this sustainable team game going, and then you drop in a guy like that, you get Zegras back, you get some guys that are injured back, and then you drop in a guy like Nylander at the end of the season, holy mother of God.
Right. And from what I've heard, Toronto is looking for prospects. They're looking for talent and players currently. They really have no use for draft picks, so they want players back in return. John Gibson has been floated out there, which of course, you know, he's always been floated out there for the last 5 years. He's been.
But with the success of Dostal too, that's even more of a reality. I think, you know what I mean. Is that Gibson's better and a veteran and all that stuff, but in a situation where you could get a guy like Nylander, Dostal could work out just fine.
Yeah. And
that...
you know, other players out there have been for at least consideration for this have been, you know, Gibson. They've got Frank Petrano with the hot start he's had. They'd like to kick tires on him. But so far, from what I've been told, neither side is really willing to accept a package that would send Nylander to Anaheim, and they're kind of,
it's early though,
in that part where they just don't know if this is actually viable, but there have been talks.
It's just one of those things where it's like, you know, because it is so early in the season, once you get past Christmas and you see if the Ducks are gearing up to be a playoff contender, and you see the Leafs obviously gonna make the playoffs because even without Nylander, like you said, you've got a core set of guys there that are gonna get you to the playoffs. It really depends on where both teams sit. It depends on, like you said, if Gibson is one of the names being floated around, how Wool is doing, like how the goaltending in Toronto is, and like what pieces are going to help each team in the playoffs this season kind of almost dictates that completely, I think. I don't know. But anyways, interesting stuff there. A lot of interesting stuff going on in Toronto. All right, I'm moving this up a little bit in the show. Sharks and Ducks, shucks. Since we already were just talking about the Ducks, what's happened since last week when we talked about them? I mean, they've strung together some more wins.
The Ducks have been they've been playing relatively good hockey. Zegras is still out with a lower body injury. Still waiting on Drysdale to come back. Both guys are not going to be rushed. Coaching staff, management has all said about the same thing, that the Ducks are willing to be patient with both of those players and get them as much time as needed to recover correctly, so that when they get back out there, it's they don't miss a step, they don't lose a beat. As far as Drysdale's concerned, this is a little scary for him. This is, he played 6 games last year. He's only gotten in around 2-3 this year. It just has not had longevity, unfortunately. You just hope that it's not something super serious where it's going to affect his career.
Right.
But as far as him helping the Ducks currently, it
doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
You look back on the lineup, night after night, and you see Jackson Lacombe sitting there, in the 6th spot, and you're just like, ugh, what you wouldn't give to have Drysdale back there right now.
This is true, but I think that trades and adding stuff for the Ducks with, like I said, they don't need to win them all, but if they keep winning a majority of their games and keep putting themselves
they're surprising right now, right? So you'd like them to keep this trajectory going. Maybe they don't beat Boston every time they play them. Maybe they don't beat Vegas every time they play them. But you'd like to have them a little bit more of the consistency. They just dropped a game to St. Louis last night, 3-1. They dropped a game to Colorado, I think it was 8-2. That was awful. Right. But I think a lot of that, maybe it's just me reading into the team a little bit, but that's kind of what I'm here to do. Right. Zegras being out of the lineup really, really hurts this team, and he hasn't even had much of an impact, so to speak, on points or getting on the scoreboard himself. I still don't think he has a goal this year or something. Right. Either has no goals or 1 goal. But I think Trevor Z just being there gets the team a lot more loose, and it makes them more comfortable and able to play. And you look at those games that they upset some of those big teams. Z was in the lineup for those games. Right.
Well, that's successful teams always have. Not that like one guy runs the whole is gonna. It's not Connor McDavid, but it's like having that one guy. Like you said, it's almost like an offensive safety blanket where it's like even if everybody's not firing, it's like if this guy's out there for his shifts, you know what I mean? Like we're gonna get some offensive pressure, you know what I mean? Like it's gonna, that one guy can kind of change around the dynamic of a game or a period or whatever with like 1 shift or 2 shifts, and he's the Ducks guy for that. I mean, Vetrano's filling the void obviously with his points that he's putting up. But
Vetrano's great, but I mean, when you look at personality-wise, Vetrano versus Zegras,
and that's
night and day.
It's the intangibles, right? It's the attitude, it's everything else. It's how the team feels about the person, how the interaction between players go. And Zegras is that skill-wise, but he's also that as like the locker room guy kind of thing. Yeah. So I agree with you there, but you're still doing better than the Sharks. And but hey, the Sharks won a game.
Hey, you got your third win though.
Hey, they beat the Blues ass, and you guys just lost to them, bro. So if you want to do like math, dude, that means the Sharks are better than the Ducks, dude. Like we beat them.
I mean, you guys also beat the Flyers, and we got stomped by the Flyers. So I mean, there's that.
But yeah, they did win. They beat the Blues 5-1. It was a it was a good win against a solid goaltender. I will refrain from referring to Capo Kakinen as Swiss cheese since he won it. That was his first win, and they only scored one on him, so
he got one.
So he doesn't get that moniker anymore. The one thing I'll say about the Sharks, they do play the Canucks tonight, so that's not good. But
yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
It won't be that interesting. But the one thing I will say, in comparison to the first, 13 games of the season or whatever their losing streak was, is that was complete. There was no hockey being played. It was panic. It was complete chase. It was complete, like, nothing cohesive teammate wise, anything wise, right? And I don't know if it was, Mike Greer had to sit down with the team, private team meeting.
I think that helped.
I think that, Kalen Addison obviously giving them something on the back end that they didn't have for those 13 games. You know what I mean?
Told you, I like that guy.
No, you did. You were the first one to text me and say that is a good move right there, and it has been. But even though obviously the Sharks suck, all right, they were meant to suck. They're gonna suck. They can win a game here and there. They're going to suck. I want them to finish last so they get the most balls in the hopper when we go to choose who gets the first pick, okay? Like
if you're anything like the Ducks, we prove that doesn't matter. So
yeah, you're right. But I'm just, I want as big a chances as we can get to get that first pick. But that being said, when you're watching a team that is supposed to be bad, that is being bad, and they're in the middle of a rebuild, the only thing you can hope for game to game is like seeing shifts where you're like, okay, that's something to build on right there. You know what I mean? Or like these guys playing together. That's something that we can build on. Like Kalen Addison to the power play or the power play. Like that's something to build on right there. You know what I'm saying? Like the only thing we had to grasp onto for the first 15 games was Mackenzie Blackwood's really good, but that doesn't matter when everybody else sucks, Now, when you watch them play, like, at least you're seeing something like that. These are buildable pieces. You know what I'm saying? Like, they and I don't know if it was a straight chemistry thing. I don't know if it was like getting a stern talking to from Mike Greer. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's a combination of everything. But it's like, at least now they can be bad, but you can at least see like, okay, this guy, this line, these couple guys, these guys playing. Like, you could see, okay, if we add pieces here and there and maybe get a good pick, maybe make a high-end trade in the offseason, like, there's something to build on, like the first 15 games, you get a whole season of that, and there's like, oh God, like just delete the roster and let's just start from scratch. But now at least, like, you can see a few guys where you're like, okay, these are our guys, you know what I mean, that should stay on the team. Like, hopefully by the trade deadline we can get something, whether it's picks or something decent for Hurdle. We can maybe get something decent for Couture. Not that I'm saying ship these guys out, they suck. It has nothing to do with that. I want those guys to be successful so we can get something for them, because they deserve to go to a place that's a contender right now, because they're both long into their career and they're skilled enough guys to where they can go help out a contender and then they can have a chance to win a cup. They're not going to have a chance to do that in San Jose for a few more years, and then by then they're you know how sports are. Like, it's usually not a gradual fade out. It's a drop off. You know what I mean? So it's like there's very few players that just are good and just different levels of good until they decide to call it quits. Most players get to a certain season and then bam, they're just it's just donezo. And I don't want that.
Once you hit that 30-year-old threshold, man, it
right. And Couture
start to tank. And
right,
hand-eye coordination goes down. It's a whole thing.
100%. And Hurdle right now is got almost like all the assists on the team. So like he's a great face. He's our top face-off guy. He's top probably top 10 in the league in faceoffs right now, even with as bad as the Sharks are. He's got capital. He's got stuff when it comes to like trade deadline type talk. You know what I mean? And it's like his skill set. He deserves to go to a contender and try for the back end of his career to get his hands on that cup. And the same thing being said for Couture. Not that I want the captain to get shipped off, but like he's injured right now. He's got a long-term injury, and those things just continue to get worse as you get older. So it's like I don't want him to just rush Couture back just because the Sharks are bad. You know what I mean? It's like, no. Yeah. Like, let him get fully healed. Let him come back after Christmas, show that he's still got some shine on him, and then let him, go somewhere that, he can go and he can be useful to somebody else. You know what I mean? Not just go out and contribute 5 to 10 shots a game for a team that's going to get their asses kicked, and we want to finish last anyways, So,
and if I'm not mistaken, I think Couture and Hurdle both have full no moves. So you'd have to figure out where it is that they want to go.
Right, and that being said,
but I mean but that works even better for everybody because it's like they get what they want. Mike Greer can go and talk to exactly those teams. He doesn't have to go and shop them very much.
Right.
He's just like, look. They want to go here. Do you want them or don't you?
And that's why I keep saying they could help out a contender is because they wouldn't go. They wouldn't want to go anywhere that's not a contender. If they're just going to go somewhere and lose, they'll just stay with their team. You know what I mean? And then also, the contenders are going to be the people that are in the market for a player like those guys because those at the age that they're at, they're not necessarily players you're going to build around. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like going to a new position.
Rentals. They're going to be rentals.
100%.
And then they're going to hit free agency next year, and they're going to find somewhere else that either has a spot in the lineup for them or somewhere where they just want to finish out their career or somewhere where they want to be good. Right?
So that all being said,
them coming back to San Jose after the season, after their contracts are over, is never out of the realm of possibility. No. You don't see it happen much, but it's never out of the realm. It can happen.
And again, that all depends on how how the Sharks look. Obviously, like I said, I want them to finish last, but like how they look in finishing last, what pick the Sharks get, all that stuff would determine whether you even bring a guy like that back or just let them go free agency and go somewhere else. So,
well, I mean, if you can put it into terms like the Ducks, the Ducks finished dead last year, and John Gibson was very adamant, before the draft saying, I really don't want to be here anymore. This is not going the way that I really want it to be going for me.
Right.
And then with the offseason the Ducks had, they went and got Carlson in the draft. The offseason they got Gudis. They got, a bunch of guys that come in and they move the needle for him. Gibson took a look at the roster again before the season started and was like, you know what? I'll let it play out. I'll see what we got. And then
100%.
And you know what? Good on him because look, he's playing great now. The team's playing pretty good around him, and they've I think that they lost when they got rid of Nick Delorier those years ago was they lost a lot of snarl.
Right.
And they got that back with Gudis, and they got that back with Johnston, and they got some good, strong, heavy players in there now. And then, not to discredit anything that McTavish does. McTavish is a beast in front of the net too. He may be a little smaller, but kids got some fire. Vetrano's got some fire. An off season can do a lot for a player and their psyche.
Oh, 100%. So, yeah. No, and that's exactly where if Hurdle and Couture don't get dealt before the trade deadline, I think that's kind of the same situation is okay, now it's time for Mike Greer to make some moves to make those guys want to stay if you, if you do want them around, one or the other. But either way, Sharks and Ducks, shucks.
Shucks.
Now, keeping it on the West Coast, I know Arizona's not technically West Coast, but they're close enough. All right, it's hot. Yeah. It's hot there.
I mean, they were in the Pacific not too long ago.
Sure, but I just want to say, between the Ducks and the Kings and the Coyotes and the Canucks, we're seeing some successful West Coast hockey that we haven't seen from anybody other than pretty much Edmonton in a while.
Yeah. And Edmonton floundering.
Right, but just it's nice to see because it seems like that the East Coast has been really dominating this league for a few years now, and it's You know me, I love my parody, and God, would I love to see a playoffs that involved the Ducks and the Coyotes and the Canucks and the Kings. That would be, I mean, in a season where I know the Sharks aren't going to make it, I would love to see that Western Conference playoff bracket filled with teams that are close to the Pacific Ocean.
It's just that one.
Yeah, that one right there. You're too far. You're too far, dude. It's on the other side. It's on the other side. You're on the East Coast. That's the East Coast where you're at, though.
In Hawaii?
Well, I just meant like if you want to do it like a whole directional thing, I guess you're right smack dab in the middle of the Pacific, but it's like if you're going like based on California and then the way we face the Pacific, I'm getting very geographical here though, okay? I don't know what side of the island you're on.
Technically I'm in the Pacific.
You're in the Pacific Ocean. Right, you are sitting directly on it, representing Pacific Ocean hockey. And anyways, I just wanted to
shirt that I got at TNC Sports or TNC Surfwear. And it said Hawaii hockey on it. I was like, oh, that has to come home.
That's legit. Wouldn't it be legit if Hawaii got a hockey team? That would be pretty sweet.
That'd be so cool.
I always love when places get. I guess that's kind of why I'm partial to Arizona. Like a place that shouldn't have hockey has hockey. You know what I mean? All right, expansion team. There you go. Coyotes, guys should move to Hawaii. How about that?
Yeah, they'd be so happy.
Hey, I got
their road trips would suck, but they'd be so happy.
Well, it's like with the Pac-12 and college dissolving, all these teams that are gonna have to every away games on the East Coast, flying from California to the East Coast and shit is like just the worst. Okay, I have a hockey purist opinion question for you. What is your opinion? Because I've seen a lot of people being loud about this. On the Hurricanes Whalers jerseys, their whole Whalers setup. What is your opinion as someone who doesn't have any skin in the game, not being a Canes fan or a Whalers fan or whatever?
Yeah, me neither.
But a hockey purist. What is your opinion on teams? It kind of happened in the NFL where the Tennessee Titans wore the Oilers jerseys. Yeah, and it's like, okay, that's kind of weird when there's a team back in Houston already, and then Tennessee kind of stole that team. There's like all these politics that go into it when you're a super fan of that team. But as an outside, what do you think about teams doing that? A team that, I guess, took that team's spot, and then they're wearing their jerseys.
It's interesting, I think. I understand why people in Hartford and Connecticut area and whatnot would be more than a little upset that Carolina is, like saying, oh yeah, let's pay tribute to this team and whatnot. Is like I could understand it, but I think it has a lot to do with how the team left. Right. And if the team kind of keeps good graces with the original city and whatnot, you never see the Oakland A's paying tribute to Philadelphia, right, or St. Louis, where they came from before too.
On the same turn, you don't ever really see any Quebecois getting pissed off when the Avalanche wear Nordiques jerseys, do you?
Oh no, you see that all the time.
You do.
They hate it.
Maybe it's just the internet of the day, the TikTok of the day, that is making a bigger deal out of this Whalers thing right now. But
there was this comic strip I saw a long time ago where it was like the owner of the Avs came out and they won that cup. They're like, hey, Quebecois, Quebec, we're still this is Quebec and Colorado's team, we're both fans, we're all fans of the same team. And it's like the Quebec fan base wearing their Nordiques jersey is going like, we want to sue for full custody.
So yeah, I guess it really is. I guess it's just like, I don't feel it because we have expansion teams, so we don't really get involved in those kind of politics. You know what I'm saying? But
it's like, I guess you think about it, and it's like the Whalers fans from back in the day, they don't, they're not happy that the Hurricanes are wearing those colors, wearing even the Cooperalls and whatnot. They're bringing those back too. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, Connecticut doesn't have a hockey team though.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Hartford doesn't have a team back in it would be really weird if the Coyotes wore Jets jerseys.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
like that'd be a little weird.
Yes.
Because there's already a Jets back in Winnipeg.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and I guess like bringing it back to like the Nordiques, it's like when Colorado won that first cup, it's like there's still players. I mean, Joe Sakic, there's still players on that team that were Nordiques. You know what I mean? And it's like, God damn it, we could have done it. Like, you know, like, and at least now there's so much time in between the Whalers and the Hurricanes that it's kind of null and void. It's like I said, it's just kind of a purist kind of an argument, I guess. But I mean, like, I guess maybe it's a little bit to the effect of like last year the Sharks wore their retro reverse jersey was a mock of the Seals jersey, right? But it said Sharks, right?
So it's like is that technically like, you know, paying not the right kind of tribute to Oakland fans, or is that? I don't. But see, I guess that technically wasn't the same fan base. It wasn't the same franchise.
It's not the same franchise.
Technically, that fan base went to Minnesota, then came to Dallas. So I mean, you know, is it? You want to know, like, is that wrong of the Sharks to say, like, look, it's the Seals, you know, it's like, but they have no affiliation with it. Or they're
just a Bay Area hockey, yay, kind of a moment.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, I don't find a problem with that, but I'm not really a Sharks fan, so I can't, like, I can't much of that.
Obviously, I was too young to be a Seals fan, and also, like you said, it not being, I think it all has to do with it being the same franchise, technically, right? Because even a lot of these franchises have different owners now. It's not like it's like the same set of people are still here from back then.
Typically, when they move, they're also changing owners, because the owners don't move from where they're comfortable, you know?
And being like a pragmatist, I guess, and it'd be like getting mad that, you know, Elon Musk moved Tesla to Texas. It's just like, it's a business. So it's like, in the end, it's selling to a new person that is trying to make more, you know, in the end, the person that owns the team, it's a business venture for them. They may love hockey. They may love whatever sport it is they own. But in the end, you're talking about trying to make a profit, and as much profit as you possibly can, and bringing hockey to a new market, bigger market, or whatever else, or whatever sports team you're doing. It's like, I get it. I've never been a part of a franchise, or, you know, a fan of a franchise that has moved. Like, maybe I should ask my dad about the Raiders. I don't know, but it's like, well, you're a Raiders fan. How did you feel? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's same people, same owners. They just bounced, you know.
But see, that's the thing with the Raiders is like, they were the Oakland Raiders, then they were the LA Raiders, then they were the Oakland Raiders again. Now they're the Vegas Raiders.
It's hard to talk about that team. Yeah.
But they've never not been Raiders.
Right.
You know, that's the thing. Like they may be in different spots and whatnot, but they're still Raiders, right? Like it's not the same thing as the Hurricanes moving from Hartford to Carolina.
Hartford, the Whale?
They're not the Carolina Whalers.
Right.
You know, they're the Carolina Hurricanes. So it's like, you know, colors change, team logos change, like everything changes. So it's like you're wiping the slate from that community.
Right.
Whereas Oakland is like they moved from Oakland to LA. Well, they're still the same.
I guess
back to Oakland, okay, still the same. Over to Vegas, still the same, you know? So it's like
the Raiders are in a whole different category.
You can't really be upset with it.
Right.
You just kind of have to go with it because that's what Davis is doing right now.
Just go with the flow. I guess we should talk to A's fans next season, right? Because I guess they've been there the whole time and now they're going somewhere else. But then again, they're still going to be the A's. You know what I mean? So
I mean, well, seemingly. I wonder, like they could. But then they were also the Athletics in Philadelphia. They were the Athletics in St. Louis. So it's a whole thing.
Oh yeah, the things we get mired in as sports fans are always funny. All right, before we get out of here, new thing we're gonna do on the show. I want to start doing weekly picks, and we'll keep track of them to see who of us does better. And there's so many damn hockey games. I don't want to get so many picks I have to remember and keep track of. So we're gonna do 2 a week. All right, 2 a week. And since this show comes out on Tuesday, we're going to do, I don't know what game, I didn't tell you this earlier, so whatever you pick is fine, but we're going to do like Wednesday to Monday games, okay? So like that way on Tuesday, we give out a pick. It'll be either for Wednesday or any day forward.
Well, you go ahead and pick because I'm on my phone, so.
Okay. I have picked my 2 games this week, and this week, Wednesday night, Red Wings are playing the Devils, and I am gonna go Red Wings over the Devils this week.
Go Wings, huh? Interesting pick for how bad they're backsliding right now.
They are backsliding, but you know what? I'm thinking that they're one of these teams that's going to be up and down all season. We've shown what they straight out the gate. We've seen what they can do offensively, obviously with DeBrincat and Larkin and everything like that. And I think they're due for a little bit of a comeback. I'm hoping. And the Devils aren't really lighting anybody's hair on fire right now either.
Yeah, but they just got Hughes back, so
this is true. I didn't take that into consideration, but I already made the pick, so let's not go there. I forgot about that he's coming back already. But yeah, I'm going Wings. I'm going Wings over the Devils on Wednesday, and then on Saturday, what I actually thought was going to be my upset of the week, which I guess they're both going to be upsets now, is I got the Coyotes beating the Knights on Saturday night.
Coyotes over Knights, huh?
I'm going with my I'm going Arizona over Las Vegas. The battle of Hoover Dam or whatever, or five. What is that the 5 points where you go and you're in Utah and Arizona and New Mexico and Nevada? Yeah, this is the battle of the desert. But I'm going Coyotes in this one.
You know what? And I'm looking at the schedule right now. I think I got at least one game that I wanna throw out there.
Okay.
So if you want to get to your second one, I'll look for my second one too. But,
no, that was both my. I got Red Wings. You're good. Take your time.
Okay, so
you're on Hawaii time, dude. You can take your time.
Yeah, I'm on Hawaii time, baby. So here's my game. At least one of them so far. I've got Kraken and Canucks.
Oh, I was looking at that one too, but it scared me.
See, I like that matchup there. They're essentially like the same city. They're
rivals, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, they're. And I think they're going to be rivals now because they're both good, right?
Right.
They have a real shot at playing each other in the playoffs, and
they're both their mascots are both sea beasts.
Yeah. And before I make my pick there, what do you think on that one? What do you think that game is going to look like there?
Well, again, obviously the Canucks are the hottest thing in town right now.
That's true.
They've got the three of their players are the top 3-point scorers in the league at the moment. The Kraken, again, not necessarily living up to expectations at the moment, but in a ebb and flow type of league. The Canucks got to slow down sometime, and you know what?
Yeah.
I think they're going to slow down tonight, and the Sharks are going to teach them going to kick them in the mouth.
There you go.
Or how about this? They just totally annihilate. They scored 10 on the Sharks again tonight, and then they're just riding high, thinking that their shit don't stink going into that Seattle game. And then Seattle has a get-right game against the best team in the league. I'm going Seattle.
So see, that's a little bit more where I'm going to is like I like Vancouver and I like what they're doing this season. They're very surprising, but I think just the fact that it is a pretty big rivalry type game, I'm gonna go with Seattle. I'm gonna see if they can smack the Canucks in the mouth.
Yeah, I like that one. See, we're underdog boys today. I love that.
Think so. Now my second game, this one seems like fun.
Okay.
I don't know if you missed this one or not. Saturday, we got Bruins and Rangers.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a good one too.
I think we all know how good the Bruins are doing. 13-1-2.
Right.
That's kind of amazing. Do you know the overall, like the wins losses for the Rangers?
No.
Like I said, 13-1-2 for Bruins.
They won 11 or something. 12.
12-2-1 for the Rangers.
Yeah, the Rangers are very. I mean, you can't say surprising because they've got.
You can't say they're surprising. You can't say they're sneaky good either because they're right there with the Bruins.
They've just disappointed in years past, and they're actually playing to their potential right now. I think so. Yeah, this is a battle of first place teams right here for sure.
Now, all that to say this, it is the Bruins, and I think everybody had the Rangers as being at least good, but not this good.
Right. Because of
but they are
their past.
But they are playing the Bruins.
They are.
So to be very easy on this, it's still going to be Bruins.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. I am very surprised at how the Rangers are putting things together, and just I don't know if you're a Rangers fan right now, if it's scary or if it's. I guess you just got to take it for what it is and be excited about it, right? Just because of the mediocrity and the crazy roster you've had for the last 5 years, and just players that have been there and stuff like that, and then just the mediocrity you've got out of it, and then now. Especially a guy like you got to be happy for Artemi Panarin. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like just actually with as much shit as he's
guys of the game, for sure.
And a lot of he's taken a lot of shit for whatever living up to potential type stuff over the last few years, and now kind of telling everybody to shut up with the game that he's playing. I will say my favorite goalie tandem right now. And again, it's all social media based. I'm a social media baby, dude. I love the reality show side of everything, and especially when it comes to sports. The duo of Swayman and Ullmark is so I love these fucking guys, dude. Like
they're great.
They are best buddies. Good. Like just all you got to do is see the clips from like during games. Like them sharing smelling salts and like their little rituals they do and stuff like that. But then now a lot of they're doing tandem interviews now a lot on like podcasts and things like that.
That's
where they're going on podcasts together and they're doing interviews together, and they're just buddies, dude. I fucking love it. And like you can't really say one's way better than the other. They're like very comparable, very good goaltenders, which is almost sad because eventually it's got to split up, right? Because somebody's going to got to get paid, more going somewhere else.
Unless they take the buddy discount, which is always an option.
That is true. And when you're on a team that's as good as Bruins and you've always got a chance to win a cup, I guess you got a better chance of that happening over the years. But right now, dude, I wish they were my goaltenders, right, dude? Because they just seem like they're having a blast. They're buddies. They're not like one guy's in, one guy looking up to the other guy, or one guy looking down to the other guy, or this guy's the star. They're just in it. They're in it to win it. They're in it. They're supporting each other. They're fucking joking around, dude. Like they're
having a great time.
It's fantastic. If you get bored out there, people, I suggest go on TikTok and just type in the search Swayman and Ullmark and look at some of the videos of them on podcasts together. It's great, dude. Like they're just you don't see that, especially with goalies, because usually you have the dynamic of like starter versus backup, you know what I mean? And like
and you constantly have the one guy that's vying for the other guy's job. It's like these guys are just happy.
They're just happy to be there, and they get along with each other. They're buddies, dude, and like that's nothing better than that in sports is when you got that guy. And that's probably why they're so damn good too. You know what I mean? Is like
there's a lot less pressure. There's no pressure on them because they know they're going to start every other game, and they're just going to be. And all they're doing is just pumping each other up. They're pumping each other's tires going out there. It's great.
Yep. Nope. You got your own built-in cheerleader right there. You know what I mean? And anyway, so that's all I wanted to say about that. All right, dude. Get back to your gosh darn honeymoon. Congratulations. Just in case you don't watch it, I just want to let you know you were my shout out of the week on the Bungalow Sports Show.
Haven't watched it yet, but.
Well, it's not out yet, but, peek behind the curtain. I just wanted to let you know that you got a heavy congratulations, and I'm so happy for you guys. And, dude, have a great rest of your time in Hawaii. Have a great Thanksgiving, and then I'll see you next week, buddy.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, dude. Have a good one. Everybody out there, thanks for tuning in, and enjoy your hockey.